Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, our group will be presenting about transgenic plant, which is under genetically modified organism.
I am NURUL with AZAHAR. Today, I'm going to explain the definition of GMO. A genetically modified organism is an animal, plant, or microbe whose DNA has been altered by using genetic engineering technique. So, a transgenic plant is a modified organism where the genes are transferred from one organism to another by using genetic modified techniques. The purpose of producing transgenic plant is to obtain a species that has ideal traits, high yield, and quality.
Now, I will explain about the methodology in making transgenic plant. There are various methods that can be used to make transgenic plant. The two most common methods are the agrobacterium-mediated gene transfer and the gene gun method. In this video, I will explain about the agrobacterium-mediated gene transfer. In this method, we will use agrobacterium tumefacient. Why we use agrobacterium tumefacient? It is because agrobacterium tumefacient is considered as nature's genetic engineer. Basically, agrobacterium tumefacient will transfer a part of its DNA and produce food product called opines. This bacterium has tumor-inducing plasmid called as TI plasmid. In TI plasmid, it has a unique segment of DNA that called as tDNA, which is very important in the process of making transgenic plant. To make transgenic plant, a gene of interest will be inserted into the tDNA. Now, let's discuss about the steps in this method. First, the tDNA will be cut by a resection enzyme once the plasmid has been extracted from Agrobacterium tumefacient bacteria. The same enzyme will be used to cleave foreign DNA. Then, the foreign DNA will be inserted into the tDNA. The tDNA will be altered and the plasmid will become recombinant TI plasmid. The recombinant TI plasmid then will be inserted back into the Agrobacterium tumefacient bacteria. The tDNA that carrying foreign gene will be introduced into the chromosome of the plant cell using this bacteria. At this stage, transformation will occur when the bacterium mix with the plant cell. Then, the plant cell will be cultivated in a culture and will go through the plant breeding stage. Finally, we will get the genetically modified plants with new express traits.
Alright, for the pros and cons, firstly, the advantages of transgenic banana are that it can help to increase the crop yield. GMO will reduce the loss that are caused by pests, virus, and other plants that compete for soil nutrient, which will indirectly increase the final yield of the crop compared to conventional crop. Second, GMO also help the plants in terms of resistance to disease by the process of transferring the gene that provide disease resistance into the plant. For example, the transgenic banana that successfully resists the bacterial wilting disease. Okay, next, for the disadvantages is risk of outcrossing, which refers as the movement or mixing of gene from GM plants into conventional crop. Then it may have an indirect effect on food safety. Second, GM plants are believed can alter the way nature works. For example, insect-resistant plants might harm insects that are not their intended target. Meanwhile, the target insect could develop resistance to this plant, which require farmers to take aggressive measures to control the problem.
Now I will introduce some of the application of GMO in plant. Firstly is vitamin enrichment such as golden rice. Golden rice is a genetically modified rice to have a beta-carotene which normally do not present in rice. The beta-carotene will be converted to vitamin A when it is metabolized in the human body. Next, browning resistant in apple. The enzyme polyphenol oxidase PPO located in chloroplast can cause apple to become brownish when exposed to the oxygen through oxidation after being cut due to the damage of cell tissue of the apple. With GMO, it can suppress the gene encodes for PPO and this can prevent food waste as most people think that brown apple are spoiled. Lastly, resistant to insect. In India, cotton crop was introduced to BT cotton. BT cotton is a cotton that is genetically modified using gene from Bacillus thuringiensis to produce insecticide. So it can be resistant to bollworm and make it a reliable source for cotton industry and cotton seed oil.
The first ethical issue in GMO that we're going to mention is the increase of antibiotic resistance to the microflora of the gastrointestinal tract or GI tract. This is where it is feared that if we use too much GMO, that the GMO can actually increase the microflora's antibiotic resistance, and it can cause the antibiotic being used to be rendered useless. And the second one is GMO also can increase the potential of anti-nutrient effect, which means that the utilization of nutrients in a certain food can be decreased due to the use of GMO. As example, run-out-ready soybean. The environmental concern for GM use is the existence of superweeds and other kind of herbicide-tolerant crops that can cause a spread of those really pesky-resistant weeds that can be really hard to remove and require a lot of herbicide to actually remove them, and this can cause pollution to the soil and water. Other than that, super pests can also exist due to the resistance to a lot of the toxins that were used in GM crop.
That's all from our group. Thank you for listening.